my hair okay?
Looks good to me.
You guys must get worried when it gets windy out.
Yes, yes, yes. We get extra calm.
Keep
I
it
just
warm.
finish today, would you like to go after? No.
We got a view.
Tempting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good. All right, we'll call the meeting to order here at 8:30. Thanks everyone for being here. We start with our introduction of guests, and then at the moment we have Jean Bardo here. Thank you. We have Steve Meyer with Harris Beach, and Jim Moon with Howard Hanna. And I'd like to welcome new board member Jared Orr. Thanks for being here.
And for Jared's, I don't know, do you
Yeah,
know?
Yeah, so
Okay,
we'll go one
no,
way.
some new faces.
Ryan Ailings, I live down the street from you.
Oh,
We've met.
next door, okay.
We've met.
Mr.
Mr. Water,
Water.
I am neighbors of Ryan, so I'm on West.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Janice. You know Jared?
I don't. Hi, Jared. Janice Scott. Nice to meet you.
And Mike Westfall, with Church Creative Flooring, has another guest that's joined us. So we're gonna get started this morning, and we have our regular agenda, but we're gonna move to the top of the list, the opening of the bids for a project we have right out here in the entranceway. And it doesn't matter. I mean, Gene was here first. Do you mind? Mike, you want to go first? He's sitting at the head, so he'll go first. We have 3 bids to open up. Mike from Church, Gene, and then Alex Keeney. And so we'll go in that order. Mike, if you want to go first and take us through what you have in mind. Just as let me just say a point of process today. We're probably not going to make a decision right after we want to receive the 3 bids. How complicated it is, there might be some follow-up questions for each of you. So the motion that we'd ask for probably today is to delegate a subcommittee of the board. We have a couple of people that are some expertise in the construction field, and that's what I'd likely ask of the board, is to then delegate that decision to happen here in the next week or so, but from that subcommittee, and that'll allow for some follow-up. Yeah, that's just as a way so there's some transparency in what the process might be today for everybody. But with that, turn it over to you, Mike.
So the reason for that buckling, first of all, is moisture in the concrete, which I find hard to believe because it's been so many years, and it lasted quite a while. So what I call technical, as far as replacing what might be there, going with a tile rather than what I picked out. They said that even though there's no moisture in concrete now, it could be something in the future that probably is going to happen again. However long that takes, who knows? It's just a crapshoot. So what they recommended was not to go with tile again, because we'd have to grind down the concrete anyhow to some extent. But the concern would be that somehow moisture is coming from underneath, even though it's not visible, but it may be absorbed into the concrete block somehow, some way, what have you. So that's when I explored other avenues, and I came up with a product from Shaw that I think would be great. It's a heavy duty vinyl planking, but it's so it's it's a 36 by 36, so you do a staggered effect on it, so it could look like a plank or even a tile. So I called technical in reference to that, and what they said was you'd have to test the concrete, obviously, for moisture and so on, and then they recommended to go with this pretty expensive routine as far as moisture shield and so on, or we can go and use a primer on it, which is a special primer that they make. So that's the avenue I decided to take, is go with the primer, because what that'll do is if there's any moisture in it, it will seal everything down. It won't be, so in other words, it can't come back up through it. So even though the primer's not very expensive, it's a little more expensive than the normal primer, but it's guaranteed to keep everything locked down. Therefore, it would allow us to use our pressure sensitive adhesive over that, and then go ahead and adhere that. And another good thing about that product there is, realistically speaking, that you can actually, if it had to be loose laid, you could do the perimeter with adhesive and then loose lay it, but I'm not a fan of that. So if there ever happened to be a little lifting of it, it's designed to be loose laid, so chances are it's going to stay flat. Or you can re-glue it down, just pop a piece out and then re-glue it down, because it'd be pressure sensitive adhesive. So that's what I actually came up with. I mean, there's probably other products out there, but I thought this might be probably a good one to go with. It's got 20 mil wear layer, let's see, 20 mil wear layer on it. 15-year heavy commercial use. So, you know, that's pretty good for, you know, for main entry and so on. The only thing I was just telling Doreen about was, because Joe and I were looking at the base out there, because that's the sanitary base for the quarry tile. The thing is, I think that measures out, it's supposed to be 6-inch base, but they have it on top of the tile. So when I took that corner piece out, it's actually about 6.5 or maybe 6 3/4 inch, I forgot what it was. And the only vinyl base that they make is 6-inch, you know, the maximum. So that's when I said to Joe, you may have to do some prep work on the sheetrock here for like, you know, we won't know until it's torn out. And also you gotta keep in mind it's all mortared on the wall. So we gotta scrape that all down, rip it all out, and then once again, you know, remove the floor and so on, and then seal everything. And where there should be a joint in the concrete going out, where the elevator doors are. There's an area right there where it's heaved underneath. I knew that's from 3-4 years ago when we tore it out, we noticed that. And so what I have to do is grind that whole thing down, level it out, and then go ahead and seal everything, you know, before we put this other product down. And other than that, that's about it. So.
And I think that just is for some of the other board members here, I think the primary challenge we have is trying to figure out, there's a couple different solutions being offered on how to handle the potential cause of whatever caused the tiles to buckle. And that's sort of to Ryan's point of, we may not get to an answer today, because I'm assuming in between Jesse, Steve, and even Jared, some of the potential solutions being offered to let some of the expertise go back to. You can, if you like. We get 4, we got a quorum, we gotta open it up, so it's gotta be a small subsequent. Yeah, so anyways, that's the purpose, we're wondering why we're trying to hear the explanations now. It's mainly from that part.
So, on the tile side of things, they recommended not to do that because you couldn't warranty it. He said, if it's done it already, we'll do it again. I told him, the building's old, it's been there a long time. She said, doesn't matter, because it's potential that it can happen again. Unlike this product here, they're guaranteeing it. So I went through technical and all that stuff, and they said, don't worry about a thing, you know, with this high-end primer that they have to use, shouldn't be any issue at all. So. That's about it.
Cool. Anybody have any questions? Mike? All right. Thank you very much.
Matches every base. I gotta go to funeral.
Yeah.
Good luck, thanks.
Nice to
See you guys.
Good deal. Gee.
Okay.
Go over there or wherever you want.
Over here. I'm gonna hand these out first. My name's Gene Dorado, and I'm from Cole's Furniture and Flooring in Penn Yan, New York. I've been doing flooring since 1992, commercial and residential. When I was asked to bid this project, I looked it over pretty good. The product that Michael proposed, I didn't get a chance to propose any, but the Cascade, that is a good product for a commercial install. The tile look would be a nice tile, would be less seams being a larger tile. I inspected it to see that there had to be moisture to have that caused, in my opinion. I recommend using a moisture tester ahead of time, which is a test with calcium chloride. We put down this little dish, you cover it, and then you need to test it for up to, it can't be any more than 90% relative humidity for the type of moisture sealant that they approved, they recommended. If it's over that, then it needs to be an epoxy, which is a different type of sealant to go over, if anything is over 90% relative humidity. And with that moisture test, that will determine how much humidity is in that concrete. there's that test, and there's also you drill a hole through the concrete, put a little probe in it, and that tells you exactly for the depth, going down in depth to see if there is moisture in that. If it is under 90, we can use the moisture sealant that is required. It's a roll-on, and that would protect the glue from releasing, causing any problem with the tile. The requirement would be needed to grind the thin set, taking the tile up, the tile in the hallway and the rest of the hallway and the ramp is it's down pretty tight. The rest of it is loose. It has to be ground down the thin set, and also concrete has to be ground down to receive this moisture sealant that goes over it, for it to adhere. We use a diamond grinder, and then that would adhere that sealer. After that dries completely to what's required, then you can go ahead and we use this glue, which is a SPS 150 glue that they recommended for that tile. It's a spray-on, pressure-sensitive glue, like he mentioned, pressure-sensitive. So as soon as it dries, you lay the tiles in it, it sticks like contact cement. It grabs immediately, and it's not a wet glue where it'll ooze through the joints or any of that. So it grabs really good as soon as it makes contact with the tile. Removing the tile base on the walls, the quarry tile, that is thin setted on. I measured the depth. Mike was talking about the depth, but I did measure from the concrete floor that's removed where the quarry tile is to the top of the base, and it is under 6 inches. So once the tile is put on there, that seam will be covered by 6-inch vinyl base. I took an accurate measurement of it. The only repair that would be done, which I figured in my quote, would be when you pull that tile off, more than likely it's going to pull some drywall face off or chunks of drywall. I recommended, I included in 2 bags of Durabond 90, which is a quick set compound for, like, say, use a joint compound, which takes a lot of patching. This is a quick set, harder finish, and it grabs really good. The only thing I can say that we'd have to do would be an extra was if we tore that quarry tile base off, which I'm assuming will happen, a lot of the sheetrock will come off with it at that point. So we may have to cut out that area, put in a new piece of sheetrock, tape it all, and make it so it's paintable afterwards. That's something I'm almost sure that's going to happen because these tiles are on there with thin set, and it's not like a little vinyl base where you just peel off like a rubber base. After the tile, the vinyl plank is laid, we would install 6-inch vinyl base on all the wall surfaces. 1 piece of metal is included for 1 doorway, goes into the other doorway there. Very important to make sure there's no moisture present in this floor before we do anything else. You can't use that one seal that they recommended. If it's over 90, you have to use an epoxy, which is like a 2-part thing, which is a little more cost, raising the cost a little bit on the sealant price. Other than that, I didn't know there was a crack or something by the elevator, the heave before. Was that something he repaired before?
We've repaired
Okay.
that.
Yeah, we can grind it. While we're grinding the floor, we can grind that down. It's a diamond grinder we use, so it cuts the concrete down. Other than that, it'd be installed in a professional way. I called technical, so I make sure I checked on everything. I called Shore on the tile. I called the moisture manufacturer. I called the glue company to make sure everything would be compatible to use. That's about it.
Great.
Okay, and I didn't know if you were tax exempt, so the quote has no, is this tax exempt? That's okay, so I left it on as tax exempt, so okay.
We are, Gene, but I did fail to mention that it should be prevailing wage for this job, so your quote, you should send me over a new quote.
Oh, it is prevailing
Yes,
wage.
that's my fault, I'm sorry about that.
Okay, so it's a
Completely
union
forgot about
wages, it has to be, like a union wage?
Yeah, prevailing
For the
wage.
state,
Yep.
okay, okay. And where do I see those,
I'll send you.
a sheet, okay, okay. Well, that'll make things higher.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's too bad,
Yes, it is.
that's all state.
There's enough moisture in the concrete for that it heats it to be affected and things come off. Is that enough moisture for like? any
It's
kind of like
hydrostatic coming up
that's-
from under the
that's not into
concrete,
the walls
yeah.
or anything like that, or into the
No, I
basements?
think it's just a
Like molding?
it had to be just hydrostatic. You see no moisture present on it at all?
No.
No? Did you have a time where maybe a lot of rain we had that might have wicked up through there at that time when we had that big storm?
No, cause it's buckled.
So what I was asking is, as you start tearing into the drywall, especially around base,
Right, how long
And you
ago did that
start seeing-
happen?
It's been a couple of years, a
Yeah,
couple times before that was
Not that
longer
you
than
wouldn't
that.
address
A lot of the tiles loose, you can tap it with your hand and
Yep.
it's not even a contact it doesn't fence that anymore. There had to be some hydraulic pressure that would have caused that, to do that much lifting of that tile.
This building's sitting on swampland, and I just think over time, the way the
Oh,
building,
okay.
it's percolating through the concrete. We
Okay.
did that moisture test that you referred to.
Did you find that you did have it, moisture present?
Yeah,
We did.
Did they do it here? I mean, with this?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, and it was above, recommended levels,
It
so.
was above the 90?
I don't have to
Right.
remember what it
Jerry's
was.
looking at it right there.
I see the MVER, is that what you're looking at?
The, no, RH, the relative humidity.
I didn't see RH on there.
There's
ASTM codes and AMVR, that's not too familiar with those, should have given you
I'll
those heads
I'll
up.
explain it to you. I'll explain it to you after.
I don't see where it says anything about that. This laboratory, did you call them to find out if it is above that? Okay, because that's very important for that seal, for that moisture barrier to work. If not, like I said, it's an epoxy two-part you have to use for anything over that. And they won't warranty the floor if it's, over 90. With that sealer, you recommend that we're all 49.
They will warranty if you use the epoxy.
It's the epoxy sealant, yes, yep. It's a two-part sealant, yep. And again, when any of these epoxies you're putting on, you have to make sure everything, this tile is very thin, so it has to be very smooth. And some of these sealants, even epoxy, have grit into them, so it has to be, it's not much leeway with this type of product that he showed. Because it's a thin tile glued down, it has to be perfect on all the edges, so you'll have edges sticking up, so. That's the only thing with this one, everything has to be right on, even when you're applying any products under that glue, it has to be very smooth. I mean, really smooth like the tape. Okay? I wanna thank you for the opportunity to bid this job, appreciate it.
Appreciate it very much.
Everyone have a good day.
Yeah.
I'll see you in the golf course later on. No.
One more, Lorraine's gonna grab Alex.
And one more thing, can you check Jim's ID and make sure he's old enough to be in here for this meeting?
Thanks. I've been harassed all day, thanks, Gene.
You're welcome, buddy. Love you.
Good.
Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you,
Almost.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, Chief. I'll send it over.
Okay, thank you.
Warren.
Hey, good morning.
Good, very good.
Good.
Grab a seat or stand or whatever.
Stand.
Whatever
You guys
want.
have questions on flooring stuff? We have a few other people in talking.
Yeah, I think, Alex, that's Keeney, by the way. I think that the major question, Alex, is, I mean, you can describe what you're offering here, what kind of your bid is, but I think that the predominant questions that we're trying to figure out is sealing, how do we handle the moisture aspect, because everyone seems to have a slightly different opinion on how to do that.
So let me give you background first of all. This job, I mean no disrespect, this is tiny. We do schoolwork all day, every day. Our subs do schoolwork all day, every day. So this, I don't know what it is, 400 or 500 square feet. We deal with this application daily, weekly, monthly, thousands and thousands of feet at a time. What you have out here, and I don't really know the whole backstory, it's quite frankly, a very simple issue. It's very common. It never used to be an issue. Moisture in concrete never used to be an issue because everything was what they call high VOC, right? But now everything that's green and earth friendly, the glues do not, and the mastics do not hold up to any sort of moisture. So 25 years ago, the issue was there, but it never showed itself because of what was going on, okay? What you have out here is a little bit different than that. It's thin set over concrete, so you most likely have some sort of water pushing up through. Somebody in here, I think, had Atlantic testing come in. Just for future reference, that's a very old school way to do the testing. There's testing that you can do in 48 hours and have results immediate. It involves drilling a probe. The flooring guys come in, they check it the next day after it acclimates for 24 hours, and you've got your results. So some of what has been done out here is still completely acceptable, but it's very much old school, 1990s way of looking at things. So out here, what we would do is a typical system. Quarry tile would get pulled out, floor would get ground out. Okay, the idea behind grinding the concrete is it takes whatever surface contaminants, sealer, any bits of mastic, anything that's contaminated with the concrete, and it opens the pores. Then there's a roll down epoxy mitigation. It's a two-part system made by Schnox, which is out of Germany. Okay, it's our standard. We use it under gym floors, classroom floors, everything. Over that, they flash it with a Portland cement product, and then LVT or walk-off mat would be on top of that. So start to finish, you're probably around a week just because of dry times. We had figured everything for B shift for night work. Being this is the front of the building, you do not want grinders and everything running during the day. I know I don't want to hear them 2 hours down either. So that's the system. Again, it's a pretty simple system. It's nothing really crazy. We did have a conversation with Doreen about, I assume that the building has a 5 or 10 year maintenance plan of where you guys are going and where you want to be and so on and so forth. You should look, in my opinion, at all of your entrances. The walk-off mats you currently have really are not designed to do what you're trying to make them do. You should look at putting walk-off mats at each entrance. There's an industry standard for custodial cleaners. We see a lot in schools. It's so many steps in the front door before your feet are quote unquote clean. So the idea is that if you can add walk-off mats at every entrance where snow and salt and crap is getting dragged in, you can reduce your cleaning, right? So like this back entrance, you've got sort of a walk-off mat in the lobby, not really the best application, but if you replace that and you did the back top of landing, that would give you like 8 or 10 steps in before you got to the elevator, which then would prevent it from spreading through the second and third floors or through the first floor. Same thing by your office, Steve. You did something in that front vestibule, the front vestibule, and then where the glass doors are, and get enough so that you aren't spreading as much down the hallway, which would cut your maintenance costs. So the cost to look at this is not only, in my opinion, it's not only short term, what does it actually cost to do it, but what does it cost you long term in cleaning, and what projects, again, because everybody has limited staff, right, whether it be us or whether it be you guys, what projects aren't getting done because you're spending time mopping and doing hallways, right? There's only so many hours in a week, and you're only getting done what you get done. So our recommendation would be, regardless of what you decide to do, and if we do it, fine. If we don't do it, that's fine too. We'd love to do the work, but obviously you guys have decisions to make. But long term, you should maybe take a step back and start thinking about how can we reduce maintenance, right? Even if it's a higher initial cost, but how do you reduce maintenance and upkeep into the future? That being said, part of your 5 or 10 year plan should be, if you do these entrances every 5 to 7 years, pick one entrance to redo. Walk-off mat's only going to be good 5, 7-ish years. So get them on a rolling rotation so that you're doing one this year and one in 2 years, and then like every 2 years you're doing one to spread the cost around. Would be our recommendation. So take a more global approach than a case-by-case approach.
Is there a warranty with your products?
We stand behind it for a year. I'm not sure what the LVT warranty is. I can look up and get it to you. I'm not sure what it is off the top of my head.
How about the epoxy?
The epoxy, I think it's a 10-year warranty or 25-year warranty. I'm not sure exactly. You have to be, so the flooring company sub that we use, you have to go through their training to be able to buy the product. So it's not like you can't go to Home Depot and buy this product. And he is the distributor for all of New York. So if there's an issue, we stand behind it regardless. We've never had issues with the epoxy. We've had issues with flooring install. I mean, we're happy to show our faults too. We had a gym floor fail up in the Adirondack Mountains. This flooring contractor got involved, took us about a month, went back to the the manufacturer paid him to redo it because it was a manufacturer's issue. And that was a $150,000 bill. Because when they made the flooring, there was a roller or something that stuck, so you didn't notice it until the floor started to wear, but there were stripes in the gym floor. It all got torn back up and it all got replaced, and the manufacturer put a bill for it and it was done. So, unfortunately, things do happen, right? I mean, it's material that when things happen, but that's why we went with Mohawk. Our flooring guy has a very good relationship with them, so if there's issues, right, the support after is, quite frankly, in our opinion, more important than the upfront. Are they gonna stand behind the product? Yes, no. And build a relationship with them.
Any other questions for Alex?
Alex missed the beginning where you said today we would
Yeah.
get a decision, we're gonna do question follow-up.
Let's see if there's any follow-up, and then we'll have a subcommittee that reviews them and makes a recommendation.
Okay.
Over the
I
next
did-
week or so.
Just so you're aware, I did check on product availability. They're running like 3-4-ish weeks. If you decide to move forward, it would not happen around any of the school breaks. No work would happen because we're all tied up. Because we jump break to break to break. So, just FYI, it's not a super long lead. Color selections would need to be made. I'm not sure who would make those, but they would need to be made. The LVT tile is around 18 by 36, so it's a rectangular tile, not a square one. So like I said, overall, this is a very much cut and dry, not complicated whatsoever. Okay?
Good.
All right, very good.
Thank
Have a
you
good
very
day.
much.
All right. I think we'll move on with our regular agenda.
Yeah, maybe we'll,
Want a motion to,
if we can, I don't know if you're, Jared, your thoughts on it, but maybe get Jesse, Steve, and Jared to sort of review what was proposed and proposed, and we can go back and ask whatever follow-up questions and such maybe you had, but just get your opinions on what
Sure.
we should be asking or looking at.
If you could send me the quotes for it.
Sure.
If you haven't already.
Yeah,
I have not.
maybe we just do that now. I was gonna add a motion later on, but why don't, if the board is comfortable, what I was thinking beforehand was, everybody's comfortable today, have a motion passed to delegate the decision. We will have the subcommittee of the board review them and make a recommendation, and then authorize Steve and Doreen to move forward with the repair in between our meetings, so we don't have to wait till the December meeting.
So moved.
Yes. Second street.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Yeah, so, I mean,
Welcome, Jared. Maybe on the committee already.
Chris was online, did he have anything, any, is he okay?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I heard everything during,
Okay.
if you could send me the bids to it.
Yep.
Yep, I'll send the committee the bids.
Sounds like we'll get a revised one from Gene with the
Yep.
prevailing wage piece, and they're not real far apart, so to speak.
He talks too fast, you can't get a word in edgeways, so I just let him go. Nice guy, but just.
All right, well, good. Thank you very much, everybody, for hearing them out, and we'll move forward with that. So, Our next item on the agenda is an executive session if we need it. Do we need one today, Steve?
Yeah, discuss the potential sale of property.
Okay, ask for a motion to move to executive session for the discussion of sale of real property.
So moved, Janice.
I'm sorry, Steve. T to be right, and then I'll ask for the motion. It's always easy to tell if the sound's working when we're all silent.
Yeah, right.
We need to apply
Okay.
next.
Ask for a motion to exit executive and re-enter open session.
So move.
Thank you, Steve. Is there a second?
Three.
Three, thank you. We're back in open session. And we'll move on with the agenda. Item 3 here is the review and approval of our minutes from our October meeting, which are included here in our packets. Did anybody have any comments or questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved, right?
Thanks, Reed. Second. Steve. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's carried. Do we have any changes in the agenda, other than the one we already made, with the bids going first?
Yes, if we can add, committee membership appointment.
Okay.
Under action items.
Okay, that is fine. Alright. And we'll move on to our finance report. Lorraine, what do you have for us?
Checks totaling $126,923.03. Check number 6693 to 6720 and E207, E210, which is the payroll of New York State retirement. So I totaled up total water costs, what it's cost us from August to today, and it's almost $62,000. I'm still waiting on one last bill from Paul Knapp for the backflow prevention device. So anytime you mess with the water, you have to have that rebuilt.
That's all the repair work, or does that include the
That-
water itself?
Well, the water itself was $9,902.48.
Of that amount? Or
Of
is
that
unit?
amount,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Have we had any discussions with the municipality on that?
yes, we have, but I have not heard back from them, so I will follow up.
Is the leak fixed?
Yes, we have new water lines, we have tracers on the lines, we have new shut-offs.
And as far as you know,
Yes,
no
we
leak
use
is
this
running
running
normally?
normally, no more water running, no more
Were
gallons.
were there any additional change orders from the original quote after construction?
No, other than we had, when they bored the line and the guy came back, there was a connection that was not put in correctly, and I have no idea who or what did that.
A new connection or an old
There
connection?
was an old connection that blew apart. I mean, they didn't even, the guy was
Issue.
above the pipe, so we had this great big huge sinkhole, but anyway, it didn't have it wasn't, they didn't put in the supports on each side of it.
Oh, the thrust blocks.
Yes, they didn't have the thrust blocks in it, does now,
You
but it
think
didn't
that-
at the time, I mean, they'd never seen anything like it.
Is that the issue?
The good news was,
I
is the
gonna
water
ask
was,
if that was the issue.
the good news was the water that poured out of that was before the meter, so we didn't have to pay for that. There was a lot of
Oh.
water. Yeah, if you keep, I think if you keep sweat, there's all kinds of pictures there.
Yeah, okay. Any other items to mention on the finance report? And maybe just a
And
quick one.
then the other thing I have is on the capital account that we talked about. Our auditors that we had said that we can, put it in a new account, as long as we've had it in the budget, we can add the money,
This is for the capital reserve.
capital reserve fund, money to that account. She said that she would suggest a resolution stating how much we wanna put in that to confirm the balance. So we started,
Why don't,
you want to put that in finance?
yeah, why don't we
Okay.
get
included in the annual budget for these last several years has been a $50,000 item for capital reserve. And I just wanted to make sure we're putting that in the right spot and it accumulates. The little overview for you, Jared, I know you met with Steve, but Dorian has it nicely color coded for us in the meeting with the blue items here are all part of this finance report. So there's a monthly P&L and then a year-to-date P&L in here, balance sheet, and then all of the different loan funds. There's a summary of the loan activity that we have out there and notes when the loans are past due or any collection activities that we have. The checks that Dorian went over, she sends out and sent out last night, the check detail, and so that's listed here. So we'll ask for a resolution here in a minute to approve paying these specific checks, and she'll have them here for the, there's authorized signers of the board to sign them, but we approve of all of the checks that get paid out here in the monthly meeting. Year-to-date results are really good, and so it's a nice surplus. I've had more project activity than originally budgeted, and expenses are in line and below where budgeted, so it's really a strong year.
One of the things we didn't count on.
Even with these extra repair items and I don't know if it's worth talking about now, but with it being a really good year and there being some other capital items talked about, if there's a way you can accrue money or, pay for some of the things you're gonna do next year out of this year's budget surplus to make next year's budget, get off on the right foot. I don't know, something we look at, banking to, for accruing for future expenses. That way we're allowed to do within the audit. So I don't know, it might be more complicated than what
I
it's
do
worth.
try to do that with the maintenance supplies at the end of the year. If there's money left in the budget, just so that next year's a little lighter. We also need, Mike's gonna need a new computer, so we're talking about that before the tariffs go into effect, before the Trump comes in, so we're looking at Black Friday ads and trying to figure that all out too.
Yeah. So any, like those kinds of things, or any other recommendations you have for the December meeting, that would be.
Yeah, I can do that too.
Jordan, I know with me being new, you sent some financials out. Do you typically, I did in November, do you typically send these out prior to the board meeting as well, electronically?
Yes.
If they do, that is the standard process, okay.
Yep. You need to get mine.
I did.
Oh.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure.
Actually, the entirety of the board packet is
Is
intended to be, the resolutions came separately, because those are usually more of a last minute ad, but the bulk of the management reports and the finance reports all go out
A week before.
the Thursday or the Friday before.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
were a little late this month, so.
But, yeah. And it's so people can review, you can ask questions ahead of time if you have them too, or you can ask them. Cool. Any other questions, discussion items on the finance report? I'd ask for a motion to accept the report and approve paying those specific checks.
So moved, Steve.
Steve?
Second, yes.
Seconded, James. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that's carried. The next item up is the management reports or status reports. Do you have anything else to touch on, Marie?
I do not, unless anyone has any questions.
Good. Mike, what do you have for us?
Yes, we just wrapped up, busy month or two of, community events, so just a quick update on how those went. The trunk or treat, which was the weekend, Saturday before, Halloween, maybe 2 Saturdays before, had about 1,500 people attended, that's what we were estimating. It was packed down there. I think they had over 50 cars. So great family-friendly event. A little bulldozer running around there taking people out, my 2-year-old. And then 2 weeks after that was the Fall Festival, and that had at least double. So around 3,000 people attend that. There were probably 60 different vendors. Wasn't the greatest of days, but it was dry and rain, so people still came out. Businesses said that they saw a tremendous uptick in business right on Main Street, so that's the real goal, right? Help our businesses out as we're going into the slower time of the year. Vendors that attended the event are already booking for next year. They were thrilled with how it went, the turnout again. So overall, very, very successful event. And then just last week, we presented the community table bridge dinner, presented the checks to the beneficiaries for, September's event. And it raised $22,000 total, with 11,000 going to both Our Town Rocks in Dundee and the Living Well here in Penn.
Yeah, that's great.
Every year that seems to continue to increase, and we did increase the number of bodies, so sponsorships are increasing. We're donating more food to the event, wanna be a part of it, so. It's been real successful past couple months on the community side of it. In my status report, I had a couple of the updates on the ongoing grants. Won't go into that more unless there's any questions on that. Have to answer any questions on, that's both the Penny and Diner that's looking to get some money to help with their rebuild, and then the Restore New York grant for the Dresden Hotel, former Dresden Hotel building. Applications for both those will be submitted in the next month. There's public hearing requirements that we have to get through, both are scheduled, or will be scheduled. Dresden's will be scheduled tonight.
The Dundee project that's ongoing, that's been submitted already, right?
It's been submitted, and we are just waiting on the state at this point to announce their awards.
Is that a year-end type thing, or is that next year sometime?
I'm shocked.
Should have been, I actually sent an email to, the deputy regional director at ESD asking when things might get announced.
Yeah.
I was surprised it hasn't come out yet.
Is this
Right
grant
in
anything
July.
But they've all been, months ago, we went through them all.
It is at the state level, so the regional did their review and sent it off to Albany, and they got some feedback on a questionnaire that they asked the actual applicant, which was the Horizon Corporation. Hesitant to take that one way or the other. The state's asking for updates.
It's pretty good.
Hopefully that's a good sign. Nothing official.
Cool. That'll be an exciting project. We do our best on marketing
Yeah.
that, and making it known of some of the energy that's happening in that community.
Yeah, they're currently kicking off a comprehensive plan update down there as well, which I've had a little bit of involvement in. There's been some delays with the committee that's meeting, but I hope to be involved in that some more. Last comprehensive plan, I think they said they did was in 1968, so slightly overdue, so keeping the momentum going down there.
Good work. Any other questions for Mike?
I was just gonna comment, like, we should make sure we fold that information into what the students are working on.
Okay.
Because we think Penn Yan, we don't always think of including Dresden, it sounds like there's some really good stuff there that we should include.
Yep.
If you send me an email,
Yeah,
I'll
give
get
you
it out to
the
the students.
Give you the lowdown on projects that were submitted a part of the grant.
Thank you.
Steve, what do you have for us?
I've covered most of it, so if there's questions, I'm happy to answer, but if not, we can move on.
Yeah, we'll take advantage of Steve being succinct and move on
Ooh, drop mic.
to our action items. So our first action item is the initial resolution for the Finger Lakes Rail pilot. You guys wanna?
So we've received a straight lease back application from the Finger Lakes Railway Corporation requesting a 10-year renewal on their current pilot. The initial resolution would accept the application and authorize the company to hold a public hearing on the potential incentives that the company would be receiving over the life of the pilot. That might be one of those things. Terms are still being negotiated right now with Finger Lakes Railway. Those would be locked in and set before any public hearing if the corporation does authorize or approve the resolution today. The incentives that are outlined in this economic summary are based on a fixed pilot model with a decrease in the property tax abatement by 10% each year, basically easing them into what the full tax liability would be if they were on normal tax rules. Over the 10-year pilot, it's projected to be a $7,884,204 total capital project. They have presented projections for each year, kind of what their capital improvements to the railway, to the crossings, bridges, throughout Yates County. The proposed property tax abatements over 10 years are $44,319, and we are offering sales tax abatements to them, which would be just under $505,000. So the total savings that they are projected to see on this model is $548,908. Compare that to their capital investment and property tax payments or pilot payments, it's a 15-to-1 company investment to community investment ratio. So every $50 that the company is investing, there's $1 community tax savings.
The 7 jobs here should specify that those are actually, they have more full-time employees than that, but 7 of them actually reside in Yates County. So that's where that 7 number came from.
The company has either 43 or 40.
The sales tax abatement would apply to the materials they purchase as part of the capital improvements?
Yes, and we would extend it, so this would be, again, at not a normal procedure for us, but we would offer a longer sales tax exemption for them because the $7.8 million, $7.9 million of capital investments, that's over actually a 7-year, we gave them 10 years, they gave us over 7 years, that's what that capital improvement would be, so it's not all upfront. So we would have to go out with a longer sales tax schedule than we typically would, because the project's longer than our typical project.
You know, as a ground up construction of a building, the sales tax exemption is usually only 12 months or 18 months. You know, the longer means out to the full 10 years and not just the, construction period as well. Just to clarify. Saying it out loud helped me understand.
And that sales tax number again is based off projections, their capital improvement, capital expenditures that they've provided to us, so that should stay consistent regardless of the model that ends up being approved or agreed upon. The property tax abatement may vary slightly, discussed in the email I sent in the update. It could be a percent of revenue, freight revenue model. Therefore, the property tax payments received, the abatements the company sees may vary slightly. Again, will be agreed upon before the pilot or the public hearing.
So that's the only piece that's really variable is the property tax, the others set. The sales tax is set.
It would be, the sales tax would be capped at this. It could vary depending on what their ultimate expenditure that year is,
They spend.
but it would not be to exceed what we be approved on.
And that's a good point maybe to expand on the sales tax exemption. They only get it if they actually spend the money. They're exempt from paying the tax. If they change their mind or change course 3 years in and didn't have the capital investment, they don't get the benefit, so it stays proportional. The incentive they get is proportional to their investment.
And this is the Yates County portion of this?
Correct. This is all.
And so the project is much bigger across the 6 counties in total?
Yep, and they've broken down their capital expenditures, sales tax purchases, material purchases
And
for each county. So what we're presenting today is just Yates County.
roughly what percent of the project is in Yates County or being approximately? 10 or?
It's
Small, okay.
6 counties,
it's
or 6 are negotiating together.
six. There's 6 counties that were in the original negotiating team. Onondaga County is now negotiating directly with the railway, not a part of the ongoing renewal negotiations as a group. So it's 5 counties that are only negotiating now. There will likely still be a pilot between the railway and Onondaga County. It's just not being negotiated as a group effort.
And is this an improvement to what they have now?
Improvement.
And offering more?
The sales tax is new. They they did not request sales tax last time through, so that is a newer element this time around than it was last time.
Okay.
Nothing else.
But you're also seeing an increase in the freight fees, right?
Yeah, well, yes, so that's sort of their, yeah,
Of course.
possibly, if depending on the model, that gets agreed to. Either, so yes, they'll end up, the pilot will increase, sort of, regardless of which option we go with, across the board in every county, so.
Be paying more property tax.
Do they project what their freight looks like
Yes.
per unit?
Yep, yep.
And that's how we calculated the property tax abatements.
Just based off of that?
For the, yeah,
For the freight
for the
revenue.
freight revenue
Mhm.
model, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, there's been numerous conversations, with them over this, and we've gone back and forth with them quite a bit to get the information out of them that we actually need to make some of these, at least our side of the calculations, the assessed value calculation that's gonna take some time. I'm not sure everyone's aware of how long that might actually take, but, that's gonna take up some hours to calculate. I got a lot of parcels to look at, so.
Okay, again, this resolution is just the initial resolution authorizing them to have the public hearing. So we're not approving a package for them right
Yeah, terms would be set before the public hearing, hold the public hearing, come back to the board after the public hearing with, presenting final terms, final numbers, and any comments received from the
And
public hearing.
we'd update the board ahead of the public hearing too, before that.
now. I'd ask for a motion to approve this initial resolution.
So moved, Janice.
Is there a second?
I'll second straight.
Thanks, sir. Any further discussion or questions? All right, hearing none, this will be a roll call vote, and Dorian will take us through that.
Maureen,
Yes?
Janice,
Yes.
Serene,
Yes.
Jesse's absent, Amy's absent, Steve,
Yes.
and Jared.
The next item up is the final resolution for covert security.
Everyone have, another spreadsheet?
Yeah.
So we've received a application for straight lease back from Forest Grove Properties, LLC, which is the real estate holding entity for Covert Security Incorporated. They've recently purchased a property on Wager Hill Road, and will be renovating a approximately 3,800 square foot barn, into their offices to facilitate ongoing growth for Covert Security. So they have applied, for property sales and, mortgage tax abatements.
Is it regular Forest Grove or Locust?
Locust?
Yeah.
Locust Grove, excuse me. So part of the expansion, they currently have 8 full-time equivalent employees. They are projecting to create 3 new full-time equivalents over the next 3 years as part of the expansion, and are seeking our assistance to help out with the renovations of the new facility. It is a $240,000 project, capital investment and renovation costs. They are projecting to pay out $2,021,000, just over that, in wages to new employees over 10 years, and their property tax payments over 10 years would be $56,132. So there's a total economic benefit for this project of just over $2 million. The proposed savings for the company would be just under $12,000 in property tax abatements, $12,860 sales tax abatements, again, on the materials purchased for the renovation, and $2,400 in mortgage tax abatements, which is the 1% county, mortgage recording tax. So $74 in company investment to $1 in community investment over the life of the project. With the incentives being under 100,000, we don't have to have a public hearing, so the resolution today would accept the application as well as approve the proposed benefits to the company. The town of Jerusalem has approved the entire project. They did a secret review and issued a negative declaration on the project, meaning that there's no adverse impact on the environment or land as part of the renovation. So our resolution would accept the town of Jerusalem as being lead agency and accepting that negative declaration as well. It's a security company that's been in business here in Penn for a long time, so it's great to see them increasing, taking on more business, more employees, without having to find a new bigger location.
Okay. It's smaller than what we normally see here too, so one of the things I mentioned, I think that we talked about a little bit is doing our best to communicate the closing costs part of it to the folks, because it'll come up against, pretty close to the benefit amounts. There's attorney fees and transaction costs to the companies, and so if we can minimize those or keep those down, that might open us up to do more of these smaller projects to help the smaller companies grow and not just the bigger companies. So this might be a good case study on the smaller size project to see how that works. And being transparent to them, not using them as a guinea pig, that's not what I mean, but having you guys have a good understanding of that to communicate to the next one that comes in with a small project. There's more room to do these size.
The costs and fees for the program are all due up front at closing for the company. So making sure they understand, okay, yeah, there's a big upfront cost, and they kind of close to seeing what their initial savings are, but with the life of the program, the property tax over 10 years, making sure that we're explaining that to the company that there's still a benefit even with those upfront
So you're
costs.
thinking the initial closing costs would be around the 17,000?
It's not gonna be quite that.
Sure.
It's under that, so with the sales tax savings, the year one,
So benefit after.
property tax savings and the mortgage tax abatement, there'll be a little bit of benefit this year. The pilot over 10 years, that's.
Sure would be something.
I mean, you want to look at it over time. It's
Right,
just
right.
a account it once.
We're 1.25% of the project cost. And then their speech generally is a third of our fee. So there's still room here, and we show that we show them the net benefit cost to them, so they can see what that's their investment in the project, what their return is, so.
Nice job.
This is cumulative, right? Yeah. Just double checking.
Any other questions? Again, this is the final resolution, so this is the full approval from the board. We won't see this again. Is it asked for a motion to approve?
So moved, Steve?
Steve, a second.
Second, Janice.
Okay. Any further discussion or questions on the project? Hearing none, Doreen, do you want to take us around?
Yep, Ryan,
Yes?
Janice,
Yes.
Serene, yes, Jesse, and you're up, Steve,
Yes.
Jared.
And I'll just make a comment to note, there's a existing banking relationship with Lions Bank, but I'm not the account officer that works with Locust Grove Properties, so just to have that in the minutes, I feel comfortable voting on it, not being the direct involvement of the company. All right, so we'll move on to item 3 here, which is our tree removal bids. Doreen included the 3 bids in the finance packet. Actually, that's not true, it was in the management
Was in the
report.
management report, if anybody's
So
got
on the
any
yellow
questions.
paper, there's a little grid there on the front page.
I think it's pretty cut and dry.
There's, I think all 3 are qualified local companies, and one of which came in quite a bit lower than the other 3. So unless there's a reason not to, it looks like we should go little bit.
We've had Fishers have done work here before, Coles have done work here before. Joe Carlson was one that was recommended by Amy Story. He was, met with him, Joe and I did, he was very nice.
I don't think there's,
Maybe they're qualified.
Fisher's good. Fisher's good.
Got a great reputation.
And I'd ask for a motion to approve accepting the little bid, or moving forward with the little bid.
So moved, Sri.
Thank you, Sri. Is there a second?
Steve?
Steve, thank you. Any further discussion, questions? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's carried. We had our lobby floor bid discussion already and made a resolution earlier on in the meeting, so we're set there. The committee membership appointment, Steve, do you want to?
Yeah, just, with Jared coming on board, Mary Ann Rogers was on our governance and personnel committee, subcommittee, so, talked to Jared, be comfortable filling back in on those two committees, so he was, so, this is probably a vote, vote to.
Yeah, we have a motion to appoint Jared to those two committees, governance and personnel.
So moved.
So move, Sri, is there a second?
Second, yes.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Wow.
Got him sucked in. We
Welcome.
meet bi-weekly. We meet bi-weekly and
Yeah,
governance.
right.
Read through.
All right, yeah. Next meeting, December 1st, yeah.
All right.
Actually, on that part,
That's happened to me before, Ryan, so.
pretty much everyone be on the lookout, because I think we got 4 different committee meetings we're gonna have to get scheduled. Governance, personnel,
Audit, finance.
audit, and finance. So we got audit, it's in, so that should go through the audit committee. Finance committee, I think, to talk about the capital reserve budget element, personnel for annual reviews, governance, there was a purpose behind that. I'm gonna remember what it was.
For what was it?
Annual fee, reporting fee.
Oh, and governance for talking about looking at maybe our fee structure for project participation.
Steve, were you gonna talk about the, field period with the personnel committee?
Yes. So, looking at, and with personnel, to potentially bring on a field period student, to help maybe implement what we're doing with the website and what Janice's classes are. Could be fun. So if you can be on the lookout, Doreen will send out some sort of Survey Monkey-ish thing to try to coordinate, see when everyone's available, and then we do usually do a little holiday get-together too, so we'll throw that out as well to everybody to see when they might be available to get together for that.
Okay, so keep your eyes open for some emails and schedules. We have our next regular scheduled meeting, which is December 18th. I had emailed everybody with the annual review for the CEO. I've gotten 2 back. If everybody else could try to get those back to me by the end of the month, by the end of November, I did.
What email just sent you?
I'll double check.
Okay.
And I may not have with you,
I didn't see
but
anything.
I wanted to I can talk about it with you. I have a hard copy here, but if you could get those back to me by the end of November, then we'll have them in hand when we do that personnel committee meeting, which should be in the early part of the month prior to the December 18th meeting.
And if you can respond pretty quick to the dates, that we'll send out that survey so we can try to get back to us on those two when we get those to you.
So appreciate everybody being here, and sorry that it kept us a little longer than our normal meeting, but it was good discussions. And I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, and I got it there.
Right, wait for it, yeah.
We are
Wanna
adjourned.
make sure that I wasn't stuck in any screws here.
We are adjourned.